Good morning, it's me, Mr. Treewind, and we are starting a new unit today, and that unit is going to be on something called transformations, which is changes to a graph or an image or shape or anything that we're doing here. And when we talk about transformation, obviously the word itself stands for change. Well, today we're going to focus on the change called a translation, which is simply a transformation that results in us moving something from one location to another. So when we talk about this, there's a little bit of vocab we need to understand, so I'm going to go over those quickly. The first thing is called a pre-image. This is the before. This is the original shape, line, graph, whatever it is that you've got. This is the before. And you can always tell a pre-image because it's capital letters, because it's made by using a series of points, which we know are capital letters. And then the image, the after, is those same capital letters, but with a little apostrophe looking symbol in the corner called prime, but let's just call it an apostrophe. We have the after being called the image. So we have the pre-image before and the image after. So in this video, I'm going to do three different examples, and I'm going to go over the steps it takes to do a translation. So on example number one, we have a triangle, ABC, and we're going to translate it right 2 and down 3. So we can do this in a couple different ways. One way, the easiest way, is probably just to take and count. And what you want to do is you need to count from each point and perform the same translation on each point. Because if you don't do the same thing to all 3 points, the figure's not going to be symmetric like we just talked about in the previous lesson, where we have to have an exact perfect copy. So symmetric, means going to be the same. So when I do this one, I can start at any of the 3 points, and I just simply count out what's happening. So let's say I start at, I'm going to start at point C, just because it's there easiest to me. Point C, if I put my pencil there and I count over 2 and then down 3, this is the image, and I put it with an apostrophe on the C to mark it as being the image. And you can see all I did was go right 2, down 3. Well, if I do the same thing on B, I put my pencil on B and I go over 2, down 3. And there it is, and that's my new B. So I went over 2, down 3, and then I do that one more time, and I'm going to clean this up a little bit. One more time with point A. I'm over here. I go over 2, down 1, 2, 3. When I get done with this and I connect those 3 dots, I should have an exact copy of what I had before. It should not be changed in any way. It should be symmetrical in the exact same shape, and it is. So now let's go back and look at what I did mathematically, because there's 2 parts to doing a translation. There's just moving it, and then there's kind of recording what's called an equation or your steps or showing what you're doing. So when I did this problem, if you look, I can take each of the coordinates. Let's start with A. A was located at -1, 2, 3, 1. And B is at 0, 3. And then the last one, C, is at 1, -2. All right, well, if I perform the translation says go right 2 and down 3. Well, when you go right on a number line, you're going up, which means you're adding. So what I really am doing here is I'm just going to simply add to the numbers. So on the first one, I need to add 2. So my new answer is -3 plus 2. And then on the other one, it says down 3. Well, down is moving down the graph. That's subtraction. 1 minus 3. And you can see the coordinates I end up with are -1, -2. And look at where A is at on the graph. -1, -2. So if I just keep track of what it means to go right on a number line, that's increasing, that's adding. And then left would be subtracting, up is positive, and down is negative. So as I go through and I can perform this with each dot, I got 0 plus 2, 3 minus 3, which gives me 2 comma 0, and there's b, 2 comma 0. And then the last one, I do this one more time. So that's, my last one's gonna be 3 comma negative 5. And let's see, over 3 down 5. I probably could have drawn that C a little better, but you see the thing, it's there. So this is called a translation. Now another way, I'm just going to do probably 2 examples. I don't think we really need 3, but as long as you see what's going on, this is how I get these values. So in our lessons today, or our assignments today, we are going to be doing that. We're going to do a little bit of both. We're going to first move, and then we're also going to be showing how to record our results. So I think I'll do just one more example, and I'll use this trapezoid for number 2, and I think I can scrap number 3 here. I don't think we need 3 altogether. Maybe I'll just use this space for my writing. So on the first, let's go through number 2. It just simply says to translate down 4. So that means I'm not moving left and right. I'm simply going to move this whole shape down 4 spaces. So I'm going to do this from the mathematical part first and not do the counting. So I'm just going to take each one of these and I'm going to write down where they're at. So this one's at -3, -1, and then I'm going to perform the translation. So in this case, -3, and it says I'm supposed to go down 4. Well, that doesn't do anything to my first value. So my first value, my x value, is going to stay. However, my -1 is going to go down 4, which puts it at -3 comma -5. And then my second one, my b value is at -1, +1. And again, because I'm only translating down and not left and right, all I gotta do is change the first value only. So the -1 will stay, the +1 will move down 4, giving me -1, -3. And then the last, oh, I'll get 2 more. C is at 3, 0. So again, no movement on the first one, the second one only. So the rule is, and then the last one is 3, -1. Keep that first value. Now let's see if we did our math right. When we plot this and we draw it out, it should be an exact copy. It just should be simply this exact shape moved down. So let's go to each coordinate and try it. The first one says -3, down 5. We'll use a different marker. 3, and let's see, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our new A value. And then B, 1, -3. C is 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, let's see, that B is at -3. Oh, I think I made a mistake on that one. Let's see here, I had 0, and it says down 4. It should have been down 4. This one's down 4. And then did I write a coordinate wrong? I did. I wrote C in the wrong position. C was at 3, 1. So hey, Mr. Tree was making mistakes this morning. Not a big deal. We'll just fix that real quick. But you can see I made my mistake, and I could see immediately something was wrong, because if I put it where I said it would be here, and that's not the same shape. So it's pretty easy to catch your mistake. Just as you draw your figure, make sure that it looks identical. Just simply move down. And again, I don't have a ruler, but you got the feeling. All right, guys, well, that's about it. That wraps this up. I know I only made this video because we got a lot of kids absent out doing testing. So your assignments are going to be on the computer, and I'll let you know about that in class. Thanks.